Today I have the CEO and founder of DisplayRide, Abdul Kasim. And Abdul, thank you for being on today.
My pleasure, Steve. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. You and I got to talk a couple months back, and I really liked what you had going. And I think now is I've been talking with a lot of people. We've been talking about data security. We've been talking about personal safety in the gig realm, all these factors. And I think right now is kind of a perfect time to hit on it. You know, the gig work is returning, but everything's crazy as usual. And still we're having like more violence with less people doing the work. And it's not just 2 to 3 target cities anymore. It's kind of everywhere. You can expect almost not expect, but you should be on your guard for anything to happen at any time. And there's a lot about what you're doing that I like. So can you give us a rundown on the platform? I already understand it. And I have some questions queued up, but can you give us the rundown so that everybody can understand what DisplayRide is doing?
Sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity again, Steve. So what we are focused on is really the safety component, right, for rideshare drivers especially. Obviously there are tons of dash cams which allows you to record and things like that, but we've really tried to develop a solution which is more holistic. So what it tries to do is three things really. It tries to prevent incidents before they actually happen. That is the ideal scenario, of course,
Mm-hmm.
or at least deter such incidents. And it records everything that goes on both inside and outside the vehicle. In case there is any issue, it kind of observes what really is happening because there is some artificial intelligence in there. And it can sort of allow the intervention. So if there's an issue, then you can sort of mitigate it. So that's generally the framework we have employed. And we do have a dashcam component to it. It is right. Let me show it to you. It's very simple, straightforward thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
Just mounted on the windshield. It takes about 30 seconds to set it up, and you can see it has a live stream of both the in and out of the inside and outside of the vehicle or the cams.
Mm-hmm.
And we have night and day recording, and also we have some real-time help as well as real-time video right here. The important element of our product is it takes about 30 seconds, first of all, to install it, okay? And the driver is not responsible for anything beyond ensuring it is powered on, that is, put it in the cigarette lighter. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is done automatically. That is, it's recorded automatically. It is uploaded to a secure cloud location automatically. And after every ride, the driver gets what we call a snapshot of what happened, of the entire ride, just a quick run through, just for their own, for somewhat reassurance. If there's any issue like deactivation or whatever, they just press a button, and we will send an exact what we call an incident detail. Mm-hmm. About a particular time, what happened, both the audio, video, inside, outside of the vehicle, and then we can also send it to like if they want attorney help, like legal help. We can connect them for a free consultation with legal rideshare, mm-hmm. who are proficient in this. And then they can send it to anyone. I mean, so they get it, and everything is done through their phones and also through email. So there's really no app downloads, nothing of that sort. Nothing to go and really, like a lot of the dash cams, they require you to put a memory card. You need to take it out, plug it in somewhere, see where the problem is, upload it. It's a nightmare, I mean.
Yeah.
So we try to make it really, really simple. That's the bottom line of it. And we try to make sure it's secure. One aspect is, it also periodically, it plays a message, audio message saying that, hey, please be aware it's being recorded. We have seen similar small things like that will deter any, malintent. People may have like some
that's one of my points I was going to bring up to you and to the gig workers out there, that that's a really huge thing, I think, because it's not the driver saying it, and it's not Uber being invasive on your ride and coming through on your phone or something and saying, hey, we're listening, or something that would just weird people out. It's just reminding people that there's a system in place in the car, right, that is recording.
Absolutely. I think that is, and we have found there's a lot of scientific data to back that people generally behave a little better.
Oh
And
yeah.
you can probably hear it's playing, and it plays every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So it's, just for people are just better behaved, I guess. And that is the ideal scenario for us, you know.
So is there, if the driver's kind of been waiting for a ride to come through and he waits like 25 minutes, can he mute it when it comes through if he's sitting there without a
It's a,
passenger, or is he?
That's a good question, Steve. We have deliberately tried to make it little not annoyingly loud and stuff like that. It is somewhat like a pleasant voice, just saying that. It's really not. I
And
mean, the
it's it's
trade-off is
and it's
kind
and
of,
it's short.
yeah, it's just like, hey, please be aware that your ride is being recorded for your safety. So there's always that part which allows to tell you, hey, it's for your own benefit, kind of thing.
Right. Um, so okay, so I just wanted to hit on some things because I know people who have dated dash cams, and this is something you and I talked about the last time, that if you
Sure.
have it might be like one of the micros or an SD card or whatever it is. But a lot of times, not only do I find that this is a, my dash cam has that, and it's a lot of the dash cams I've noticed, it's odd that they all place those on the passenger side of the dash cam. I don't know why, but if you're
Mhm.
sitting in the passenger seat up front, you're going to see that. If you're looking, you're going to see that card, which I never got. At least put it on the driver's side. It's still a problem because somebody could rip my camera off, run,
Yeah.
and mine doesn't upload to the cloud. So I don't have that feature that DisplayRide gives you, or that some few others give you like that. Now, so I'm kind of at risk. I would think that some people are becoming smarter to the fact. I know in New York City they do the dash and grabs with other things in the cars too, but I know that now they go for the dash cams because they
Yeah.
know that most of them are not uploading to the cloud. So no
Yeah.
matter what they did, as long as they grab the dash cam, they're probably fine.
Exactly.
And
So our stuff, yeah, in real time we are uploading it in real time because it has a wireless connection inside the device itself. So
exactly.
and the driver's phone and everything. It's a standalone thing.
And right, and that's what I
It's
was going to say too to the drivers, is any of you out there who who would choose to do something like DisplayRide, this isn't your data. They're
yeah,
they're mining the data live from the dash cam to you to the cloud, and then you can, at the end of every trip, you get an SMS, right, saying that the
yes,
trip ended.
exactly.
And if you need that, you can download that. If you need any certain time gaps, you can download that, or if it's not crucial in the moment, you could email them. I think from our last discussion, I remember you saying you could email and say, hey, I need this piece. It might
Yeah,
be bigger than the normal piece, but I need this clip. Could you
sure.
provide that for me? And then these guys can provide you whatever you want. But on the go, I think there's even like an emergency setting, if I remember, that if you hit it, you get 5 minutes prior, 5 minutes past the
Yeah,
point where you hit it.
yeah, exactly. It's here, and you just press this. You see that the ping sound was there. That's
Yeah.
it. It means it's going to send it to my phone in a minute or two. It'll just send me the data, like the video and audio. So God forbid if there's an incident or something, like, and a cop shows up, right? You want to show like, hey, immediate data, so you can show it. It's
Or
pretty,
even or
pretty.
even if you feel one's coming, right? Like it
Yeah, yeah,
doesn't it doesn't have to have started. I mean, like,
no, 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 absolutely.
you could
It'll
just
show up.
feel that you're not feeling comfortable with the passengers, and it's not a strike on you for doing it if nothing happens. It's just extra protection.
Exactly, you can do that, and it's just a reassuring thing. And one other thing we are trying to we're adding, Steve, is this thing called support. There's a thing called support. Again, it's pretty close. By the way, our device is mounted more towards the driver's side, so it's easily reachable. It's and
Right.
so what happens? You press this, so it just says. I mean, you're hearing a message.
Uh-huh.
Contact a customer. But what we are trying to do is, especially for women drivers and so on and so forth, if you press this, this will automatically set you up live call with an agent or somebody out there. So immediately you will know, like you feel reassured, like, hey, there's somebody with me, kind of thing, right? Like and that immediately, and if there's an emergency situation or something, somebody can act. So that's, I think, a feature. It's like almost like that onboard system that you had in all these cars and stuff, like in the more luxurious cars. So we think that's very important, especially for drivers who drive in fairly, difficult areas, and also women drivers. See, I already got that message, by the way. The thing I sent, I requested it. It
Hmm.
said that here is your emergency video. You just get
Okay.
a thing. All they do is just there's a link. You just press the link and it'll automatically start. It's loading. It just loads up the both the front and the back. It's pretty cool. The important thing is it's all
But it's also
proactive.
recording the 5 minutes after, right?
Yeah, yeah. It records. Yeah. So you see here we have. You can see it says road view and the cabin view, and you can just
Right.
press that. It'll show you whatever. Obviously, I placed my camera facing the window, so it's showing the window. Of course, you'll get a scenery of
So
New Jersey.
is it that you'll get another one in 5 minutes then saying here's the second part of that?
No, this is the immediate one. If you want another one, you just press again,
Oh,
because we
okay.
cannot.
Okay.
Yeah, the important thing, and we will get to the economics of it, Steve. Our goal is to make sure everybody has it. We've tried to make sure there is no reason for anybody not to have this. In fact, a lot of our customers now
Hmm.
already had their dash cams, but they think, hey, for
Exactly.
like for this price, no worries, I'll get it. So obviously, we cannot keep on. There's a huge cost for uploading. This data is video bandwidth is heavy, right? So we have to pay the wireless carriers, whether it's Verizon or AT&T, T-Mobile, and all that stuff. So it costs a lot to upload huge amounts of data. So we just try to be sensitive, don't abuse that privilege is basically what we try to ask the drivers.
Right. But again, to the drivers, just so you know, if any of that was confusing at all, so you're only get the video you need, but you can call
Yeah,
for any pieces that you need or want. Maybe there's a piece you just want, and that's fine
absolutely.
too. But the main thing you guys should be hearing here is that this data isn't running off your phone. It isn't even anything running with your phone, and it's the same as any dash cam you might have. A lot of people I know, a lot, seem to have the old data card ones. I don't even know, like last time you and I spoke, Abdul, was like I think we talked about Owl for a minute because Owl was doing a good thing, but I don't even think they're around with their product anymore.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They're no longer in business. So.
So it's like, who's still doing these cloud uploads? And this is what I think is crucial, people, because it's we all say it's great, you got to have a dash cam, you got to have a dash cam, but if you have one that if somebody grabs and just runs away and has everything on it, and you can't call it
Absolutely.
up to your phone or anything, there's nothing. I don't know. There's nothing that you can do at that point. I mean, this thing almost, if they, well, I guess it would come out of the power, but they'd have everything tracked up till the point where it was ripped out. So anything the people had already done is already there. Um,
Yeah,
again,
you remember the other thing is, we automatically, for example, let's take this in a use case where somebody's making a grab for it, right? And grabs it successfully. But usually we would have had the guy's face or whatever, the person's face is already recorded and uploaded. So immediately authorities can sort of pursue it. And that's exactly what is happening also, Steve, in Chicago, for example. There are a lot of
mhm,
these carjackings and stuff like that. So people are coming, hitting the driver and getting into the vehicle, and then they're realizing there's a dash cam, of course, and they plug it in, just chuck it out or break it, right? But in our stuff, their photo is already there. I mean, you already know who the person is, perpetrator is, so it's much easier to follow up and figure out where what happened and all that stuff. So
right.
that's a pretty cool thing. Another thing we are doing, Steve, is we have got a lot of telematic data in this. So one of the things, couple of things, it kind of shows how you're driving and all that stuff, especially if it's your vehicle. Are you driving it efficiently, not efficiently, that sort of thing? Because we send a report automatically every month. But more importantly, right, if God forbid there's an accident, it can automatically detect an accident because there is something called G sensors inside this device. So if it's sudden, if there is some accident, it can recognize there is an accident and it can automatically notify your loved ones or somebody, like somebody in your emergency contact, saying, hey, this person may be in an accident, you may want to take a look at it or whatever. And also what we do is we record all the data at that time, like what happened, where was it, where were you driving, the video, audio, of course, of the 5 minutes before, 5 minutes afterwards, and it's automatically sent. Nothing you have to do. So just this morning, some guy was hit on the side swiped on his vehicle this morning, one of the drivers, and he just downloaded immediately he had that accident report, and he called up his insurance, and they know he's not at fault. and they started processing it right away. So
Yeah.
that's
So yeah. So I was gonna say too, like I know that you can separate the video. You can choose to not have audio if you
yeah,
want. I mean, I would probably want both, because if I'm recording that, I want the conversation that's happening as well as the actions in the video. But also, one thing I love, and I know that the people who listen to the podcast and watch the YouTube channel will love, is that you don't share any of the information unless the person requests that you do.
absolutely, we do not. The data is owned completely by the driver. So the driver has the complete access to it, and we will not share, short of a court order or something, we will not share with anybody. And the only options we offer them is they can actually take, because we were trying to make their life easier. So if they want to share it with a legal, like a attorney or something, right? Because one of the big things we offer is something called for deactivation. A lot of drivers are deactivated for flimsy reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to have somebody, some legal minds behind you to go to Uber or Lyft or whatever and make your case, right? Otherwise, those guys just ignore you and you just come back to your deep platform for a while. So we can do that, but again, that is the driver's option, and they can always send it afterwards, no big deal. So it's completely the driver's data. We do not see it ourselves. If the driver wants it, we always ask, like, hey, do it's okay for us to, because they tell us, okay, what time and all that stuff. So that's the only time we access it. We do not access it
Right.
otherwise. Yeah.
Right. But which also gives people it gives you the ability to, if you were in an accident, it's not your fault, to request it before the police officer even gets there. Like, you'll be able to
Absolutely.
say, I mean, you'll have it downloaded on your phone, be able to go, here's how it went down.
We
Like,
unfortunately, we have seen a lot of incidents where more than physical abuse, there have been a lot of verbal abuse. They'll abuse the
mhm.
driver or something like that. They use some nasty names and things like that. Now, and somebody calls them and asks them, hey, I didn't say anything, kind of stuff, right? So now they can actually stop. A lot of times what happened is the driver stops the vehicle, tells the guy to get out. The guy says, I'm not going to get out. So what happens? The cop shows up. Then you say, hey, here's a recording. It shows this guy was abusing me. So those
Mhm.
kind of things are extremely useful. And we are seeing a lot of drivers feel much more comfortable, and they're asserting, that they don't have to tolerate, because some of the guys were telling me that they're just being called mean names and stuff. A lot of college kids will get in. They want a free ride. They'll do all kinds
Oh
of
yeah.
stupid things.
Oh
So they
yeah.
call up Uber. The driver was mean to me and all that. So what will they do? They don't want to lose the customer. Whom do they trust? They'll trust the customer usually, and they say, well, okay, sorry, sir, your ride is free. That's what they're going to say. So
Right.
that's basically the intent. So it's all this stuff we try to to
Oftentimes too, you get that. One of the most common things I talk with people about, drivers that I know, is that one of the biggest annoying little incidents that happens is people calling for like an Uber X and having one extra person, but then trying to pull it where they all get in and the one sneaks in behind them, so that you're already in the car, and trying to have that situation out. And that's been a thing since back when I started. That used to happen. But now it's still going on, just with the temperament of people around this planet right now. It seems
absolutely.
like those kind of things can get out of hand and escalated real quick.
Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, this is their livelihood. They want, and why do you want to have a tense sort of thing, right? We try to at least make it a little bit easier for them. So that's why we are providing this solution. We have like a button for deactivation. We have a button for accident, all those things. So really the driver does not have to worry about all these sophisticated things, downloading, uploading, sending emails, all that. We kind of take care of it. They feel, okay, everything is taken care of me. Somebody's watching me. Somebody's, I'm sort of protected. So they feel some degree of thing. And one thing interesting, Steve, we have found is it's like you said, the environment is also a little bit crazy nowadays with people and everybody, right? So what we have seen is that when the driver feels comfortable, right, they know they're recorded, and their demeanor also feels, is improved, because they feel more comfortable and all that stuff. And we have seen that they tend to be more more nicer or whatever. At least the passengers perceive it to be that way, and they give a better rating. So we never thought that would work that way, but it seems like it has a good consequence. When people feel
Of
safe and secure, they feel
mhm.
better, and they're much more nicer, pleasant, and it has a better impact, where they get a better rating, more tips, that sort of thing.
I think it's a two-way street too. I think when that comes
Yeah,
through, I think it's these days, I think it's, well, all the time it would be good, but especially right now when there's so much craziness. Do I mask? Do I not mask? What's going on? Is
yeah,
this guy vaccinated? We could be fighting over anything. It's just kind of, it's nice to have a voice come through and say, hey, this is being recorded. It's not like as the passenger, you're like, wait a minute, or as the driver, you're like, wait a minute. It's like on both sides, you should be like, good, this is being
yeah.
so it kind of is like that breath of fresh air a little bit, like, okay, even if
That's
you're the
what we're.
passenger, you're able to go, okay, this
Yeah,
guy's having this recorded and everything, and he's legit. I'm not going to screw around here or what. I don't know. It would just give me, even if I'm drunk or, what, not that, I'm too old to be going out and getting drunk and stuff, but back in my day, if I was drunk and getting in one and, who knows? Not that I would ever mean anything, but maybe I'd say something that just crossed somebody's line. That's just that reminder to that not
exactly.
all of us are on the same page about everything and how things come across.
I think one of the important things we strive to do in our design is it has to be a win-win for everybody, right? Definitely for the driver. I mean, we are looking out for the driver, obviously, but obviously we are looking out for the passengers too, because they are the ones consuming it, right? These rides, and of course we try to make life easier for the rideshare company as well. So if Uber or Lyft or something complains, say, hey man, some guy complained about you, you can actually show that stuff. Today it takes them 2 weeks, several weeks actually, to figure out what actually transpired because they don't have any data or anything. Okay, only now they're beginning to say, okay, if you have any dash cam, just send it to us. Again, what do? Take it somewhere on your home computer, upload. It's all nonsense. For us, you just click a button and they have it. But the point is, again, it makes life easier for Uber and Lyft as well, and it's very legitimate, credible data. Nobody can manipulate it, so we know that what they see is what happened really. So the drivers, it's benefit for the drivers, benefit for the passengers, benefit for the ride sharing company, and also of course, like I said, even for insurers and so on and so forth, because they don't know what happened during an accident. So we can, so it's an entire value chain we've strived to improve, Steve. So we are not like a product company. That is an important distinction we have.
Mm-hmm.
We see the problem and we try to solve the problem. Whether it's a device or a backend or a cloud or whatever, that is not relevant to the driver. The driver has a problem. How do you fix the problem?
Mm-hmm.
We may use a lot of technology, and we do use a lot of technology behind the scenes, but that's our goal, not provide a tool which they can use and then they have to figure it out. That's the big
Right.
difference.
If you were in an accident, you have to go home and pull it off your card onto your computer and
Exactly.
figure out then how to get it to the police. You'll be able to give it to the police in real time.
Exactly. Imagine how your emotional state when you're in an accident. I mean, you're worried. I mean, you're thinking about all this stuff. No, come on. Somebody has to take care of it. You need to. Your mind is probably gone somewhere. I mean, you want to make it easy as possible, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah, I think you do because it makes it so you can just go, wait, you send me all that. And then when they get there, you're able to explain yourself. You can take a deep breath.
Yeah,
Um, can we talk about the telematics a little bit?
sure. So we
Okay.
have
I'm
a
gonna let you do that one.
Absolutely. We have a telematics component in the device.
Hmm.
What that means is basically it's about the driving component of your thing, right? Because you're driving a vehicle. There are, we charge a little extra for the telematics because it's totally distinct. A lot of people don't want it. But what we do is we offer a what we call a safety score. Again, we try to keep things simple.
Hmm.
We have something called a safety score. So at the end of the month, Steve, you'll get a message saying, hey, Steve, your safety score was 90. Means you got an A plus, something like that. If you, hey, Steve, your safety score was 20, that means you drove something. What that really translates, and we give all the information. It means
Right.
you drove too fast, you sped, we track on the speed limits and all that. You are speeding over constantly, and you braked a lot, and you turned very harsh, all that sort of thing. Because we believe that is also an element of safety at the end of the day. So we track that. We also are, because we are eco-centric, we also check how you're driving. Are you driving efficiently or just speeding, and that emits a lot of gases? Your vehicle requires more maintenance and all that stuff. So we give a score, so you can kind of modulate how you drive, right? That's one thing. The other thing we offer is the accident report, which means if there's an accident, we can actually detect it in real time, gather the data before the accident, after the accident, inside, outside the vehicle, and we create a report saying, hey, we detected the accident. Here is the report of what happened, where you were. Here is the location. here is what was happening inside the vehicle, what is happening outside the vehicle, and all that sort of thing. So you have a complete like a report, accident report. And also what we do is the other thing is we offer this emergency video, emergency audio video, which you want, right? You can just
Mm-hmm.
press and get it. We put that on the telematics because we charge extra for the telematics, because every time you press that, right, it consumes a lot of data to,
Right,
you're
right.
doing it real time, right? So we try to bundle that with that. So basically those three things you get. A lot of the drivers, by the way, it costs $5 more per month. So people said it's no brainer. I
Yeah.
like it. And a lot of people feel comfortable. And one of the things, Steve, we are working with some insurance companies, and that's really important to know.
Yes, yeah. This is what
We
you
are,
and I were talking. I was going to ask
yeah,
you if you're there, if you're kind of getting there.
we are going to announce shortly. So the idea, our ideal goal is you, Steve, you're driving very safely, right? I mean, you're driving respectfully, you're not speeding, all that stuff. Why should you pay the same premium as somebody else who is driving rash? You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
makes no sense. Just because he's your same age or same location, it's absurd. It depends on how well you drive. That's your risk profile. So we think you can use that to improve your, get a better deal. In fact, we are already doing that with what we call is these fleet managers, fleet companies. They're
hmm.
already using our stuff for getting better insurance rates.
See, and when you and I talked last, I thought that was one of the biggest, coolest things you were doing. Was that I'm like, people might see it as I don't want to spend the extra $5 to have them tell me if I'm a good driver or not. It's not really what it is. It's more like it's like the police's perspective. If they had a drone over you the
Yeah,
whole month,
yeah,
you'd get
exactly.
an actual analysis of how they think you drive, not how you think you drive.
Absolutely. The other thing is also,
And you
remember,
might learn from that. You might look at all this metric breakdown and go, wait a minute, I know I drive fast, but this is saying all the time I'm driving fast. I'm not stopping good. I'm
yeah,
doing, and in your head, you probably somewhere in those cobwebs know that already.
yeah, I think having data is better to validate that, Steve. One. The second
Mm-hmm.
thing, importantly, is remember, you drive like crazy, then it's going to cost you, right? The maintenance, your brakes are
Yep.
going to get worn out fast. You need more maintenance, that kind of stuff. So there is a indirect cost. And like we said, a cherry on the top would be ultimately some insurance company says, hey, Steve, you're driving great. You get a better rate, that kind of stuff, which is
That's
what
what
we think will happen.
that's what I think was really cool last time we talked, is that I saw that being a huge thing for the insurance down the road, is that if
Yeah,
they get to a level where they love the way you do this and they're accepting that metric, even if it's certain insurance companies, and they're like, yeah, we love this because this gives us a real breakdown of how they're doing. Because if an insurance company could, they would take every metric on you to see how you drive every second of the
of
day, and your rate
course,
would be totally based on that.
exactly,
I
because
mean,
and they're, at the moment they're not competitive at all, but now, I mean, but now with more and more data, basically what you're saying is if you're driving well, you're less risky for them, right? That's all it
mhm,
means. So if you're less risky, you should pay less. That's simple as that. So it's a
right.
simple idea, but hopefully a powerful one. So ultimately, we're bringing all these different entities. The driver is the center of our solution, but also the passenger, the insurance company, and the rideshare company. So everybody wins out of our solution, we feel, and so that's how and we're constantly adding new features, Steve.
So I'll just run through the standard features. So if some first of all, to sign up is simple. You go to the website DisplayRide.
Yeah.
You can do it right
Yeah.
from there. I think I'm looking at it right now. I think it's like literally like just a few lines of information they need, and
Yeah.
they'll send you the camera, the
Yeah.
the
We'll
charging
ship you.
cable and clips, and the startup guide. And basically it says standard features. So you get the automatic video, audio recording, day or night, real-time storage on the cloud, periodic audio alerts, summary video of all rides, live streaming in and out, deactivation support system, and fully automatic monitoring. And you do this all for $20.
Exactly. So now we have like a 25% off for, I mean, especially for your viewers,
Sorry, $20
right?
a month with no upfront fee though. There's nothing, you're
Yeah,
not buying
exactly.
anything, people. You're getting
No,
all of the data, you're getting the unit.
right. So what we've been we try to be as attractive as possible, because our goal is to be really across the entire rideshare fraternity, and so we're making it a really attractive thing. $20. if you want the telematics component, you add $5 per month. We ask, like your phone, we ask like a 2-year contract, because there is an expensive device we send you and all that stuff we say. And yeah, if you don't like it, you can obviously return it. We kind of allow that. But we try to be, we so far people love it, and we think, we're looking out for them. And I think it resonates with the drivers that you're looking out. Nobody ever, most of the dash cam companies don't know what the hell you're talking about when you say deactivation. What is deactivation? You know what I mean? So drivers know, we know what deactivation is and all that stuff. So we are offering them very specific features. So yeah, they can just order it and they're ready to go. It takes 30 seconds, by the less than 30 seconds, I might add. That's one of the big features of our product. All you need to do, it comes exactly like this. It comes with a cable, charging cable, which you plug it into the cigarette lighter. And here you see, Steve, you see it has a
Hmm.
an adhesive. You just peel it up and just do it, and you just screw it up, and you're done. And you can actually view it, how it looks here, right here in real time. That's basically it.
Right. But so basically, here's what I want to point out to a lot of people though. So basically, even if you already have a dash cam like I do, this is a great idea, because for me, I was, the owl was something I liked, but here's the problem. Here's the difference when owl was around. They're not even around, but when it was, you had to pay $300+ for the device. And then you had to pay, if I remember correctly, it was about 15 or 20 anyway, just for the monthly service of their recordings.
Exactly.
So you were still paying exactly what you're paying here. So you might not own this camera. However, you don't pay for any of the data. It's not tied to anything you do. It's
Right.
recording everything. It's got your back 100%. I know you're saying rideshare, but I don't see why delivery
Oh
drivers
yeah,
wouldn't want this as well. Just people who
absolutely.
are on the road that much, even if it's not having an issue with the riders in your cars, accidents, everything happens.
Absolutely.
And it's just, how would you not want that documented? Of course you do. A lot of people are moving to just getting dash cams. They're getting entry level ones that record horribly, that don't timestamp correctly, or all kinds of things, and that reset every time you plug them in, so the date's wrong, so you can't ever prove if the date was the date. This is all stuff that's done on the cloud. This is the way I prefer things be done. And does it record local too on the unit, or does it
I'm
not?
sorry. It,
Does
it
it
everything is, it has a huge 32G memory card in the device
okay.
as well. So everything is recorded on it as well. So
So whatever 32 G's is in the setting you're using for video, once it hits the end of that, it just kind of goes back and starts recording again.
yeah, it records, just so to give you a perspective, it'll record up to 3 days worth of data. So
Right.
three
And
days,
then at that point, if
12
like
hours.
if you needed something from a day
Yeah,
or two ago, you shouldn't be like, wait a minute, 3 days ago I was in an accident. I better pull that. Hopefully you
yeah,
pulled it
no, no,
already.
interesting. That's a great point you raised. Steve. One of the things we do is we have something called history backup reports. So you can go on our website. We can we actually on the website. You can just go and click one thing. It'll give you up to 72 hours back data
Okay.
automatically. Just a click. It'll send you basically links of all the rides that you've done. So you just plug. You'll see everything, and even all the videos will have the timestamp and the location, in fact, where you were. So
Right.
if you're like, because somebody will, the one of the scenarios we see, Steve, is some of these ride sharing companies will call up the driver and say, hey, one of your customers complained. They will not reveal exactly where, who, when, where, all that stuff. So you may have an idea, you may not. So you may just want to scan in three, hey, like what happened? Usually, 3 days, usually within 24 hours, they let you know these things. But we give you up to 72 hours of data so you can review it and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, for for the $20 a month that you just used to have to, or that you have to pay for most of the dash cam types that do cloud uploading, you have to pay that a month anyway for those services.
Yeah.
And even some of them, I don't know if it's still the case, but I do remember that even some of them have limits on their data.
Yeah.
So there was like a limit on how much data you could be uploading and how much had to be local, and there were people changing settings, and I just always thought it was a horrible way to do it. That
Yeah.
this is what's been needed, is a way to do it where it's just always uploading. You don't need to, like you were saying, you don't need to think about it. You just turn it
Yeah.
on and you start working and concentrate on your work. Don't worry about the dash cam
Exactly.
that's got you.
Exactly. We don't want you to worry about dash cam, how it's recording, all that junk. And the important thing is, the driver. I mean, this we record everything, and also another important element is that your audience has to understand is there are tons of dash cams. Obviously, they know you can go to Amazon, whatever, you can find a whole bunch. But a lot of them, you just buy it. If it doesn't work, you got to throw it. That's end of story. You don't.
Yep.
There's no customer service, nothing. We Another important element we are trying to bring is customer component, customer service. You can, like I said, we are creating this online thing in the future where you just plug and you get connected to real time to an agent right away.
Hmm.
And you can always call us, and every time you press those things, in our support center, we can see who's calling where if there's an issue. So we actively try to intervene if there's an issue. We see if there's a problem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just everything about this, and I'll leave it up to you guys to go to the website. It's just DisplayRide.com, and if you need to, you can. If you want more information, you can info at DisplayRide.com. But go check out the website. I think that here we've given you enough information where if you're the type who even has a dated camera, because you made a good point. Like my camera was bought like 5 years ago, and there's cameras even made since then where if you buy them on Amazon, the company doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to say they've gone out of business, but they made their cameras, they dumped them, and now they're not around.
yeah. A
So
lot of them are. Exactly,
right, I
yeah.
mean a lot of them aren't. So the ones that you see on like half price sale and stuff, even if they're reviewed great, you might want to take 2 looks into the company and see if they're still a company, because
We are proudly made in the United States, by the way. So,
yeah.
so
But I mean, I
that's
think that the cloud uploading in real time is just genius. I think that not having to deal with, because even on mine, I have to do settings. I just have to every once in a while. I got to do something, or if the battery dies or something, everything
yeah,
resets. So it's, then you got to go back in there and enter the date. And did you enter it right? These time coding stamped ones where it's just done for you are great. And if it's real time and, anything, God forbid, happens to you, especially an accident. And I know that we focused a little bit on the safety issues in the beginning, but the accidents too, when you're doing food delivery or whatever, somebody rear ends you. It's not that uncommon these days for somebody to rear end you and try and take off. I don't know, mate.
absolutely.
I'm just coming up on 50 years old here, but I remember back when I was learning how to drive, if you got in an accident, you didn't leave the scene of the crime. Maybe that's just where I grew up in Michigan too, but you just didn't. These days, I feel like it happens all the time. I feel like
Yeah,
somebody hits somebody and they just try and tear out of there.
absolutely. It happened just
And
this morning. I told you. So
I
exactly
mean,
that.
this stops all of that kind of craziness, because if they do that, then they're in just more trouble, and you've already helped to eliminate it and solve it. So I don't know. I think that everybody needs to go and check this out. And if you have any questions, obviously you can email info at DisplayRide. And Abdul, I want to thank you for sharing this with our audience, and I'll make sure it's going to be out on the audio podcast as well as come out on video this week. And hopefully a bunch of people will come your way, because I think you have a great product.
Thank you so very much, Steve. Really appreciate it. Of course, anybody has, like you said, info@displayride.com. Go to our website. And there's also a number, I think it's 408-290-1936, if my memory serves me right. But anyway, it's on the website. Please feel free to call us. We are here for you, and we'll make sure you're happy with it. So thank you again for the opportunity, Steve.
Hey, thank you for creating a product that our drivers can use or should be
Thank you
using,
so
the
much.
kind of things they should be using. So thank you again.
Take care.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.